Aloha kako. So we meet again, huh? We are here again, together on Mo'olelo Monday. From the last video that I posted between last Mo'olelo Monday and today, nothing has really come about. The um, fact that I posted a video or those comments or even the feedback that I'd given to YouTube, nothing has really come about it. So I'm supposing that if no one is complaining, then everything is fine. Like, world spins on. I mean, I guess that's cool for some, but I do understand that there are people out there that are trying their best to make money, make a living, and some of them are okay with the fact that they will be hurting others in the process of to make their living, and it's a shame to me. I feel really sad for those that are involved in the negativity when it comes to those who want to prosper. I personally do not like to rock the boat. I don't like to make waves. So I'm the kind of person that if I make others feel uncomfortable, I remove myself from that equation. And a lot of times I will just use my intuition and see whether or not I'm welcome. If I see that I'm not being helpful, or I'm causing where I'm at to be uncomfortable, I remove myself from the area. I take myself away. I only like to be in places that I feel welcome. That's ultimately what it is. I only like to be around people who want me around. I know it was kind of an aggressive way of looking for a solution, coming up with this video about how I'm ranting and raving about the idea that YouTube is going to cancel me and censor my voice because I'm trying to speak the truth here. I guess the idea is that it seemed like I was a part of something that was great, and I was disappointed, to say the least, that this platform that we use to speak and show really doesn't have the people's best interests in mind. They're more concerned about just making videos, showing ads, and making money. But yeah, when they sent that warning to me about the closing or termination of my account, I was offended, and I shouldn't have been offended, because I was being a little aggressive when it came to these videos that had appropriated things from my culture, the culture of our Kanaka Maoli. It turned me off, and I felt like I needed to stand up and fight. I think it got the better of me, because these people presenting something, trying to make their living, although in a belligerent way, it riled something up in me that in turn made me go about leaving comments on all their videos that had the language, the Olelo on top. In turn, it had them report me to YouTube, and then in turn YouTube had mentioned that they would censor me or ban me or my channel, which in turn caused me to make the video, which now in turn makes me feel like it was just whining, just complaining. That wasn't the point of my video. The point was to bring forth the truth and to return that honor to the Hawaiian people. And making that video kind of made me feel like perhaps I dishonored myself through the means of just complaining. It's not something that I really want to dwell on, and I'm not going to anymore. So I just wanted to speak my piece and say, I'm back. Seems like nothing is going to come of it. Maybe somebody will see my video. Maybe somebody will put two and two together. There was somebody who commented on the actual video that they put up. But I'm afraid that if I do post any more on top of their channel, that my voice will be taken away and I will lose my ability to create more content. So I am going to give this. I'm going to give this away, give it up to a higher position to take care of, and hopefully something just comes of it. But if it doesn't, then that's just the will of the world. Yeah, at least I got to say what I did get to say. I had my moment to vent about a frustration, and I washed my hands of the situation. I'm not going to get banned or censored all because of some tiny little group who decided to just belligerently move their way into trying to get views and followers. So that's not the point of my channel. What I did want to talk about today, moving forward, and forgetting about that whole thing that happened. I'm not even sure if I'm going to keep this opening inside my video when I post it. I guess I should, just because it's something that was on my way, it was weighing on my heart, so it needs to be said. It needs to be set free. Wanoa, let it go, let the energy get out already, so it stops rattling around up inside the head, right? So I'm just gonna go ahead and let that go, and enough already talk about these people and what they're trying to do. But yeah, so getting back to my own personal stories. Ever since I can remember, I was experiencing strange things growing up. Growing up in a life of the supernatural, I guess. It's not like I was blind, or I was kept blind from the world, the paranormal world, because there were so many superstitions in our family. There's certain things that we didn't do at our house because it may cause bad luck, and the superstitions that we held onto, they make sense. They really do make sense in the world of respect, anyway. When you think about things that we can't see and that are still around us, yeah, that makes sense. So a few examples of our superstitions. One of the ones that were kind of profound on me, and I'm still kind of irritating about it because I play with my girls about this, but you shouldn't whistle at night. And so the whistling is kind of like a call, right? It's like calling somebody, yoo-hoo. You're getting someone's attention. And for my culture, or for the Hawaiian beliefs, when the sun goes down, that's po. And po not only does it mean night, it also means a place where spirits dwell, the akua. Okay, so during the nighttime, when people should be fast asleep, sometimes if you are up late, either because you're reading a book, watching a movie, or playing games, sometimes you get to experience the akua around you. And so there were many times that those kinds of things would happen to me. And even when it wasn't really nighttime, some things would happen. But anyway, one of the superstitions, don't whistle at night, because those whistles or those calls will bring things to you, bring things to your house, and it'll kind of wreak havoc on your lifestyle, your home, cause mischief, things to disappear, things to go missing, things to break, people to get sick. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that we try to avoid in our life, and bringing these energies to your house, calling forth these energies, whether they're good or bad, or have good or bad intention, is no good. Yeah, it's better just to be safe than sorry. So why even tempt fate? Why whistle? Why do the whistling at night, right? So it's funny because I had some friends growing up in school who, sometimes would do these things, would break these small, I don't want to say kapu, right? Kind of are disrespectful in a way. And, we'll as us local people would tell them, shh, don't whistle, bro. Don't do that. And then, a lot of times when they're the haole, I say, why? Why can't I whistle? Because, defiance, right? They don't want to be told not to do something. And so, we don't whistle in our home at night because we don't want, it calls forth the spirits from the Vawakua, from the place of the spirits. So they'll just they'll start doing it even more. They'll just keep whistling, and they think it's funny. They think it's funny that us simple-minded people have these superstitions. Another one that I never wanted to tempt was sleeping with your feet towards the door. So that superstition is when your legs or your feet are pointing towards an opening, like a door of a tent or a door of the house. What happens is your spirit awakens, and it feels like it wants to progress out from the home, regardless of if your spirit is connected to your body or not. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you see it, when your body is separated from your spirit, and your spirit decides to go wandering, a lot can happen. There's a lot that can happen, and I know some people don't believe in things like that. They don't believe in out-of-body experiences or astral projection or anything like that. But yeah, sometimes your energy can, we send energy all the time through our words. We send energy through the way we look. We send energy from, our emotions, what types of gestures and what kinds of, facial expressions we show. Those are all energy, and people receive them a certain way. So when you sleep and your body becomes relaxed, and you get to this point where you're kind of in a meditative state, a lot of things can happen. Whether or not it is sleepwalking or astral projection, out of body experience, even the what my dad calls it, the witch ride. Witch ride? I think here we call it the choking ghost. In Hawaii, anyway, we call it choking ghost, when you're pressed on your chest and you wake up, you can't breathe, and that's something that I've experienced. And yeah, not the nicest thing, to experience, but a lot of times it happens when people are sleeping. My experience never happened while I was sleeping. I was wide awake when I experienced the choking ghost in my home. But yeah, so that's one thing. Dropping cutlery on the floor, that's a sign of someone coming over to visit, perhaps, so that you can prepare your home to receive somebody. What else is there? Yeah, so there are a whole bunch of these different superstitions, and if you guys have any of your own cultural superstitions, you guys can write them inside the comment section below, so that we can kind of make like a list of different things. But yeah, so those were a couple of things. You invite these spirits. Another one that I still do today, and it's very important to me, is sweeping things out of the house, sweeping in the garage, just kicking up dirt, kicking up dust, because some of the things that hang out during the nighttime hours, in po, ikapo, they much lower to the floor. We always think of spirits as being kind of floating around up here, zigzagging up above us, but there's stuff that are lower too. And if you're sweeping out your house, or if you're blowing dust inside the garage, or even if you snuff up a loogie and spit it out of either car window, or you spit it out of your house or something like that, those things that are flying around at night could land on a passing spirit, and they'll be offended. They'll take offense, and they'll enter in it. They'll see it as an act of aggression, and they'll come in. Again, they'll bother you in your home or whatever. So those are the kinds of things that I avoid too, because that's, doing that, first of all, is disrespectful. Like, I wouldn't want to get dirt in my eye. I wouldn't want to get mud in my eye. I wouldn't want to get somebody spitting in my face. So those kinds of things, wait till the morning. Wait till the morning. We don't want to kick dust up out of our house if we can't help it. Yeah, we try to sweep it up into a dustpan and dump it into the garbage. If you gotta spit into a napkin, throw it into the trash. Because most times I'll just hock a loogie out my car window, or I'll spit it out into the grass and stuff like that. Typically during the day it's fine, but yeah, as soon as the sun goes down and things start getting dark, no, I refuse to do any of that. But anyway, so those are the few of the superstitions that we have in that I grew up with in my home, and yet we still had strange things happen. So regardless of if we were doing the right thing or not at the time, there was still strange activity that would find us. And a lot of times I share these stories with my students when we do our spooky storytelling, and they kind of agree with me that they do themselves experience those things that I bring up. So I say, have you guys ever, doing your homework, or you're just kind of sitting alone in your room, or playing a game or whatever, just kind of like you got your mind set on something else, and you're just kind of like busy at whatever you're doing, and all of a sudden you see something kind of walk past. You see a shadow, and then when you look up, you catch the tail end of that shadow going past your doorway, or just making its way out of your vision. And so the kids are like, yeah, we've experienced that. So I usually have a class of like 20 kids when I do my talk stories, and I want to say about almost half will raise their hand when it comes to seeing something from the corner of their eye, and so they've got some kind of ability. They can see energy. They can see more than what your normal person can see. And because of that, this whole idea of this whole paranormal thing too, it's like, is it really paranormal? If it's happening all the time, only people can't see it, is it really paranormal? Like, if there's a deep sea fish that we never see, and he's swimming around all day, and he thinks his life is like regular, and he sees his family, hey, what's up, deep water swimming fish who never sees sunlight, and then of course that fish gets old one day and then it dies and it floats up to the surface of the water, and people are like, oh my gosh, what the heck is that thing? It's like some kind of a rare, unheard of monster. So just because it doesn't always come up to the top of the water doesn't mean that fish is paranormal. It exists where it exists. It lives where it lives. It doesn't make itself known to us where we live, because this is our place. We live here. And the fish's place is down there in the ocean, right? That's where it belongs. That's where it lives. Just like the akua, ikapo, the spirits in the evening, that's where they dwell. They don't dwell, but at least we don't experience them as much during the day, because they come out mostly at night. And that time is reserved for them. Time when the sun is out. We are beings of energy too, right? And we require that sun so that we can survive too, so that we can get our vitamins, so that we can get our bodies functioning well, right? The sunlight helps us to live. And the paranormal, is it really like that rare? Is it really that unheard of, just because they're something that you can't see but happens all the time? Is it really not normal? Because to me it seems like this stuff is so constant that it's normal. Just not everybody can see it, or not everybody wishes to see it, right? I don't know. But yeah, and another thing was the ulaleo, what we call it here, and that's the disembodied voice or sacred voice. That one is always a good one. More children will raise their hands when I ask if they ever experienced somebody calling out their name. Oh yeah, they tell me, I hear somebody call my name, and then I'm usually home alone, so like nobody's there to even call my name, and I still hear my name being called, and that'll freak them out. But yeah, all these things and I tell the kids too. I said, it doesn't matter if you go to a cemetery, doesn't matter if you go to a burial, doesn't matter if you go to Safeway, or even outside to check the mailbox. If something sees you and it's attracted to you, that energy is attracted to you, it might follow you in, right? Sometimes it can't. Sometimes these things can't follow you in, but sometimes it can. And when it does, and it tries to get your attention, it depends on what kind of attention you're giving it, right? Are you going to make a big deal about it and freak out and give this thing the mana it needs to sustain itself, so that it can do more the next time, so that it can come back again, and instead of just calling out to you, appear in front of you, and once they get that rise out of you the second time, come back again, and maybe even give you a touch, Depends on how much energy you're gonna give this thing. But yeah, so getting back to the whole thing around the house, yeah, when I was growing up, I would definitely hear people calling. A lot of times it was my mom. I'd hear my mom's voice calling out to me, Gabby, and I'd get up and I'd move around and look for her. And when I'd find her, she'd be busy doing something. I said, "Did you need me, Mom?" And she'd be like, "No." And she asked me, "Why? Why do you ask this? Why are you asking me if I need you?" So I'd be like, "Because I thought I heard you call me." And so she was happy with how I went about communicating with her. Because when those things call out, if I had just said, "Yeah, yeah, Mom," or if I had, said something else, it's kind of acknowledging that this thing, it's okay for it to be there. Maybe next time it says, can I join you for your next trip? Same be talking to you like I wanna go somewhere with you. But I tell my kids that too. I tell my nephews, I tell my nieces, I tell my babies. It says, you ever hear your mother or me calling you? Don't answer it. You just get up, you come to us, and you check on us, see that everything's okay. The shadows, yeah, I used to see shadows all the time. I still see shadows. In fact, that's probably when the reason why I wanted to talk about that today is because I want to share something that actually just happened last night. So yesterday, March 2nd, a few things happened. A few strange things happened at my house. And one of them I actually wanted to share with you guys. So it's kind of a long video. It's like a 10-minute video. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to have it, I'm going to put it right here in the upper hand corner. And I'm going to go ahead and discuss what it is that we're seeing at the moment. But basically, last night, I hear this kind of like knocking on top of our bedroom door. And after I hear the knocking, it happens again. It happens the second time. And it sounds like two knuckles just kind of like, it's kind of rolling on top of the door. And after that knocks happen, my wife thought it was her dad because he needed something. I thought it was one of my sisters because they needed something. But either way, it seemed like somebody wanted to get into the room. So I stood up to go over to make it over to the bedroom door, and the door pops open, and it's my daughter. So she comes walking into the room, and she's telling me, "Oh, hey, Dad, did you guys hear like knocking?" I'm like, yeah. That's why I was coming to answer the door. And so she says, no. So what happened was she was inside the kitchen, and she was washing dishes, and she heard this knocking sound happening. And basically what happens is she went to go investigate it. And she went to look into the living room. There's nobody there. She went inside the family room. There's nobody there. So while she was inside the family room, she was looking towards her grandfather's room to see if he needed help or anything, and nothing happened. Except she sees something from the corner of her eye. She looks, and she realizes that the bathroom door inside the family room is shutting itself. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So after she tells me that story, I follow her out of my room, and we make our way back into the family room. She shows me, how the door closed, and then she says that she heard the sound while she was inside the kitchen. And so I'm like, okay, that's cool. So when I came into the kitchen, I realized that the cat, so you'll see the cat, he's actually sitting inside the middle of our kitchen. And before I started actually recording this video, before my daughter made her way back, before she went back to her room, I took some photographs of him because he was just sitting still in the middle of the kitchen, just like this, you know. And my hand is going to be in front of the camera quite a bit because my camera actually doesn't work very well. So I've always got to put my hand up to make the what's that called, the camera to the lens to focus, because my camera sucks. But our cat was just sitting there in the middle of the kitchen, and he's sitting right directly in the very center of the kitchen. I had actually counted the okay, there it is. It's playing again.
But he's been sitting there for over 5
So
minutes.
I'm asking questions right now.
Is there somebody here?
So it doesn't answer me. When I ask this thing, who you are, why you're here, and I tell it to speak out on top of the phone
Did you have something
because
that
I
you
don't
wanted
have
to
the
share?
best of eyesight and the best of ears, and it doesn't answer. There's no answer.
Say what you have to say now.
Okay. So watch this part.
Fortunately, because my ears aren't so good and my eyes aren't so good, I'm using this device to help me hear and see you. Obviously, the cat can see you or hear you or whatever. And what I'd like to know is who you are and why you're here. Seems like he seems to be loosening up. It's blurring out again. If you are here for malicious purposes, or if you are a negative energy, you are not allowed to stay in this household.
So right now I'm
And you are to
telling
go
this
back
thing that it doesn't have any
where it is, wherever
right
it is,
to
that
be
you
in our
came
home.
from.
But check this out. This is something.
In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ, you are not allowed to stay here in this home if you are here for malicious purposes or evil intent, or if you have negative, what was that? Negative energy associated to
Okay.
you.
So it's at this moment that I'm in the middle of recording,
Just like a flickering
and I
shadow
see a shadow
over here with a raised button.
walk into the wall, moving towards the
In the name of our
refrigerator,
Lord Jesus
and then
Christ,
walking through the
you are
wall.
commanded
Um,
to leave this area.
not only do I see the shadow with my own
this
eyes,
household,
but I also see
this
my
family
phone
in
kind of
peace.
flicker, like my
Now.
screen on top of my phone kind of does this little flicker thing. And I knew I caught something because it wasn't me that was creating this shadow. I was holding my phone with one hand, right? Well, I was holding it one hand, and then I was I was using my other hand to get the
as
phone
a
to
family
focus.
member. That is
And it was really strange. So I decided to upload my
Positive.
video to
full of light,
my computer,
and love
and then I started watching
for
it.
this family.
And although I didn't really catch
this
anything
place
audibly,
and this
nobody
family.
talking, I catch the shadow. And so I'll go ahead and play this clip for you guys to see
see
again,
it.
and I'll of course slow it down, and so you guys can get a good look at this thing. But it's really weird because that thing just pops right up. That shadow just comes out of nowhere, and it starts
In the name of our
from
Lord
the
Jesus Christ,
bottom left-hand corner where the oven is, where the stove is. That shadow moves from that direction, and then it goes up towards the refrigerator, and then it goes through the wall, out the kitchen, into the garage. And I was just like, when I saw that inside the video, I was like, whoa. I mean, but it happens within like a microsecond. You know, it happens so quickly that it kind of like tripped me out.
intent.
But anyway, I'll go ahead and show it to you over a few times, and then you guys can pause it or whatever, do what you got to do, check it out. But it's really strange. So yeah, I'll play it. It was so funny. That's why the darn cat was just sitting in the kitchen, right in the very center. I counted all the tiles from one side of the kitchen to the other, from the front to the back, and he was like right in the center, right in the center, and he was just looking up at the window. Now, I understand this cat. He does enjoy chasing a bug or two, but when he sees a bug, it's a different kind of behavior he displays. He displays, his ears get all perky, his eyes get all big, and he's like scurrying all over the place. He enjoys finding these little things that are moving around, and especially when it's up by, say, our kitchen's window. Sometimes we get those freaking B-52s that are landing on top of the window outside. He'll jump up on top of the kitchen sink, and he'll be like watching the darn thing crawling around outside. That's his style. But this was weird. This was very strange because he sat down in the very center of the kitchen, and he was just staring straight, like something was standing in front of the sink, and he was just watching it. But after I asked for this thing to leave, that's the strange part. After I'm talking to this thing, well, first when I start addressing it and saying, if there's anything evil here, da 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 da, whatever, he kind of goes from a sitting position staring outside. He kind of crouches down, and he's still staring, but he's kind of lower. And every once in a while, he'll cast his gaze back at me to look at me to see, what, like, it's like I'm saying something, and then maybe the thing that's there, if it's some kind of entity, maybe it's speaking back to me that, the cat can hear it. So like he's looking at me, waiting for me to respond back to this whoever it is that's standing in front of the sink. But yeah, after I finally say, if it's something evil, you need to take a hike. If you're something that's part of our family and you're here for the benefit of our ohana, then, aloha. That means, chill, kick back. And after I said that, it didn't take more than 3 seconds. The cat let out this, show the video, the cat lets out this huge stretch, and he kind of walks his way over to the door into the family room where he normally hangs out at night, looking for the little geckos and stuff like that, the creepy crawlies. And yeah, he went inside the room, and then he finally realized I was there. Kind of looked a little skittish, like he didn't even know I was there. Kind of freaks out a little bit. And then as I'm leaving the kitchen to go back to the room and go to bed, he rubs up against me, and I scratch him. But I was like, such weird behavior. It didn't make any sense. But anyway, so what I'm saying by yesterday being kind of strange was that wasn't the only thing. That this was at the end of the day. This is like when we're going to sleep. Now, what happened earlier in the morning was we were all out inside the living room. We had just come back from, well, actually early in the morning we had watched the sunrise at Sandy's, and when we got home we had brought some breakfast home, and we had our breakfast and fell asleep. We took a nap because it was so comfortable. And what happened was my oldest daughter, had to do an interview with her Grancy, and so when she came to the house, she had gone into the living room to go interview her Grancy, and when it was all said and done, she had to edit it. But she woke us up after my parents left. She had woken us up, and I said, how come you didn't wake us up while they were here? It would have been nice to visit with them for a little while. But no, so we woke up, we went over to the living room, and I sat down on top the chair next to the bookshelf. And next to the bookshelf, there's our stand-up lamp, one of our tall lamps. And for some strange reason, somebody had taken a curtain that was on top of the window and tied a knot. And I'll put a picture of that here, so you guys can see it. Anyway, somebody had tied a knot around the lamp, and it had been like that for a couple of days. Anyway, earlier that morning, the cat was trying to climb up onto the bookshelf, and I guess he almost fell off, and he grabbed the top of the lamp and broke the you know the hood, the the shade. He broke the this diffuser that was at the top of the lamp. So there were pieces on the ground. I guess my parents picked it up and put it on the side when they found it there. But yeah, luckily the lamp was tied up to the curtain for some reason, and it didn't fall to the ground. So I guess it kind of saved the cat. The cat was able to get up on the top of the shelf. Anyway, I'm sitting there on the chair, and I look at my daughter, and she's complaining about the fact that her headphones broke. And so I went inside the family room, walked into the family room to go ahead and grab her my set, so that she can finish her homework and edit her video, her interview. And as I'm walking back from the kitchen, going through the kitchen, I look up towards the window where the lamp is, and I see the darned curtain untying itself from the lamp with nobody touching it. the lamp is just standing there. It's got the thing tied around it, and I can see the darn thing moving to the point where finally the knot falls out, and the thing starts to unwind itself from around the base of the lamp, and then it brushes up against the wall like it's always been, neatly leaning up against the wall from where the curtain was falling. And I was like, excuse me? I was like taken aback. I'm like, I'm sorry, did I just see what I just saw? So I must have said something verbally. I must have said like, what? Because both of my sisters were inside the living room too. They were hanging out. They were both on their phones though, so they didn't witness what I had saw when I came back into the room. And did you guys see that? You can see that the curtain just untied itself from the lamp, and so they looked up and saw the lamp, and they're like, "Hey, how come the curtain isn't tied around the lamp anymore?" And I'm like, "Right?" And I said, "It just untied itself by itself. It just unknotted itself and fell flat against the wall." So I grabbed the curtain, I knotted it back up by itself, and I threw it against the wall. I was like, I saw you. I wish I had my phone so I could have recorded it, but very strange. So that happened. Must have been around, I want to say around 11:45, maybe 12 o'clock. Well, maybe even 12:30. Yeah. Very strange. And the second thing that happened was the knocking. While my daughter was washing dishes, there was a knocking sound, and she came back to tell us about it. No, it's fine. And then, of course, finally the cat sitting in the middle of the kitchen staring at the sink like there was somebody staring at him or talking back to him, and he was just listening. But I thought he was scared, but I realized looking at the film now that his tail wasn't actually wrapped around his legs. It was sitting to his side, but he was just like staring up, and it was really weird. Very strange behavior. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on, why that kind of stuff was happening at the house yesterday. Maybe it's just that time of year. Like, it's really strange because things don't usually happen at our house until, I want to say, about May. But I don't know, these past couple of years have been kind of strange. Things have been kind of happening earlier and earlier in the year. But typically when the New Year's comes around, that's another kind of superstition that we have in our family, is that during the New Year's, when you pop fireworks or those firecrackers, the loud noise and the sparkling lights and the red paper that falls to the ground are all symbols of good luck and scaring away the evil spirits. Yeah, scaring away the akua. So there's that. And then, of course, you learn that, there's that salt inside the fireworks. And I know salt is a very purifying crystal. And so when the fireworks pop and explode, it sends all those particles of salt crystals through the air, um, purifying the area too. So there's a lot of things that I truly believe help. Although some people think that they're just superstitions and just things that people do because of whatever hocus pocus or ooga booga stuff. You know what I mean? Although some people find that stuff to be like beneath them or illogical, yeah, they don't see any benefit to doing those kinds of things. Others have a very strong feeling that those kinds of things should be done. Spilling salt, taking some, throwing it over your shoulder. That makes sense too. I mean, like, okay, it's kind of weird. Like, you spill the salt, you take some, throw it over your shoulder. What does that? What does it mean, right? Like, why would you do that? And basically, when you spill the salt, something is causing some kind of I don't want to say curse. It's not to the point where it's a curse. Like, just beginning, right? When you start dropping things and oopsie, right? You start getting the sniffles. Just start not feeling well. So those small things like that can grow into bigger things, right? Bigger ailments. So when you knock something over like salt, which salt is very important to the human body, right? Knock something like that over, it's like, oh, you stand it back up because something's affecting you. You're not doing something 100%, right? So you move your salt back to where it was. You grab a little bit off the counter and you flick it over your shoulder because potentially there could be something attached to you. And the terminology for spirit that jumps on you is called akuanoho. And akuanoho basically sits on your shoulders. Yeah, this whatever this weight is, whatever this energy, this entity is, it sits on your shoulders and it weighs you down. Akuanoho. And so that spirit is not good. And when you take that salt and throw it over your shoulder, it's like you're purifying behind you and you're trying to get whatever it is that's attached to you off. So that's my understanding to that, and further, other traditions that I've noticed, especially with things following, yeah, because on a few occasions I've actually seen things tethered to people's backs. During my waking hours, I seen, especially, I'll tell that story about I'll tell you the story about this tethered energy on top of one of my coworkers' neck later. I'll tell that story on another Mo'olelo Monday. The one that I really wanted to focus on was, the home entities and spirits and stuff. So, yeah, not really sure why it happened or what was going on in the kitchen, but that shadow that appears moving around inside the kitchen was some kind of quick moving energy. Didn't move until after I started talking to it and telling it to go away, and it did. It left, and once it did, the cat was able to chillax. He relaxed his posture and he was cool after that. So, that's one of the things I usually tell my friends that stop by at the storytelling. I tell them, hey, because some of them get concerned, like, what if something this, what if something that? And I says, you just tell it to leave you alone. You're the one that's alive. You're the one that's living your life right now. They just want a piece of the action. They just want to jump in on whatever they can take. And so don't give it to them. Don't offer it to them. Not like me, anyway, from that time that we were doing that video up at Roosevelt Avenue, right? I said, go ahead, take my mana. Don't do things like that. Because when you offer it, they'll take. And when they take, they'll take. They won't stop until you're flat on your face. So, hard lesson I had to learn. And I don't think we all need to burn our hand on fire to know that it's hot, right? Some of us already know by just looking at it, watching the meat cook on top of the flame. We already know not to touch it, right? It's not good for us. So, yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to say, tell you. I just want to tell you folks a few stories about things that have happened uh, throughout my life, and of course what happened at my home yesterday, just yesterday. Very strange. I don't know. It must have happened for a reason. This must have happened yesterday, so I could talk about it today. Maybe it was like kind of like a thing where it's like, well, something strange needs to happen in his life so that he can share it on this Little Monday. Because if nothing really interesting happens, he might just say, you know what, it's a sign not to continue doing Little Monday because, you know, this whole YouTube thing is such a drag, and maybe I shouldn't do it. And it kind of encouraged me to be like, hey, you got to share this new thing that you experienced yesterday. And so I was like, okay, yeah, I guess so. And then it kind of brings up the whole idea of superstitions, right? And what it is that you guys do to protect yourself and your families, right? Because we have to protect ourselves from certain energies, because you just never know. I mean, some things might be good, some things might be bad, some things might be family, but that doesn't mean that because it's family, it's good. It could potentially be even worse off than something strange coming into your house, right? So we even got to be careful when it comes to family. Yeah, even our own family can be harmful to us. So I say just be careful with all of your energy. Yeah, don't offer it just willy-nilly out to anybody, and don't just give it away, because it's very important, like for us. Yeah, because we need to cherish our own energy so that we can do, because if we are not okay, we cannot help others. That's basically the important thing that I've learned in life is, if I'm not taking care of myself, how can I take care of anybody else? Yeah, it's like the airplane, when you start learning about putting on top of your face mask when anything goes wrong with the plane, right? It's like, oh, fix your own mask and then do your child, because if you're trying to fix your child's mask and then you pass out trying to get theirs on, they're going to be left a wreck because they're sitting next to somebody who can't breathe, right? So anyway, with that being said, and with this video right here being put up, yeah, I don't know, it's very strange stuff. I mean, it's weird. I'm happy that it happened, although I'm not sure why it did. It's kind of like a weird instance, but kind of happy that it happened, because then I was able to come out and actually felt like doing this video. Because yeah, maybe I wouldn't have felt like doing a video had it not been for what happened yesterday. But pretty interesting. And yeah, so I guess I did kind of talk about a little bit about spirits sticking to people. And maybe next week I'll go ahead and, on the next Mo'olelo Monday, we'll go ahead and talk about that sticky spirit from my workplace on Fort Street. We'll talk about the different things that happened on Fort Street when I used to work there as a security officer. So yeah, I think I might have even talked about it already. You know what I need to do? I need to write down all the things that I talk about on the show, so I don't regurgitate my past experiences to you folks, because you guys are like, wait a minute, it's just like the fifth time he's telling us the same story. So yeah. But anyway, yeah, a lot going on this month. So exhausted. I think I remember telling you guys that last week, that I was just like exhausted. I got to the point where I was sick, missed out on some work last week. This weekend was rough. I spent a lot of my time sleeping during the weekend. And even on Sunday yesterday, when like I said, when my parents were there, I was still crashed out because I was so tired. I need to get a vacation. I need to find myself some time to get some sleep. I know spring break is on its way, so hopefully we won't have too much planned for spring break, and we can just enjoy the entire time, spending it with my girls. That'll be super nice. Be super nice. But anyway, I just want to say thank you guys for stopping by again. I'm happy this wasn't or should I say that the last video I put up was my last video. I'm happy that I had something interesting to share with you folks today. And I'll make sure that I have something else planned for you folks for next week as well. Yeah, I know I was supposed to have a list of things for the next few Mo'olelo Mondays but I just haven't had the time. And like I said, I'm like exhausted. I'm busy. This month is gonna be crazy, crazy busy, and so um, yeah. If you guys have anything that you would like me to talk about, like me to discuss, you can always leave comments. Hey, why don't you talk about this? Why don't you talk about, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Maybe I can do some research about it before I actually do a video on it, and give you my insight about what I think it could be. I don't know. I was also thinking about doing maybe a couple, I don't know, not a couple, but maybe once in a while doing a live Mo'olelo Monday where I just do a live feed, and we just, I don't know, just okuka kuka, talk story, olelo mai, olelo aku. Be kind of cool. Then I get to see some of you guys interact with me live. But anyway, I think this video has gone on too long because we're reaching that 1 hour point again, right? But I just want to say mahalo nui loa for stopping by. Thank you very much for being here, and I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope everyone is doing okay. I don't know, the temperature of today's things that are happening in society nowadays is getting a little bit nuts, but we'll be okay. We'll be okay. Keep our head above that water. Well, first we gotta climb out of that, reach the surface of the water so we can breathe, right? So, I'm sending all my love to each and every one of you. Thank you for stopping by. We'll talk to you later. Okay.